Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Dan on Blazer Guy 1983. Just going to do a little update on the 1997 Chevy Blazer that I have and do a walk around here for you. Some of the things that I've done to it are everything from the pitman arm to the idler arm to front brakes, that's pads, rotors, all front ball joints I've replaced on it. New shocks, they've also been replaced all the way around. I have some Monroe shocks in there. You probably see the yellow there. Done quite a bit of work on here. Did a tune-up on it with some new spark plugs, AC Delco iradiums, and some new wires. Also have done some body work as well. Some of the areas that are very common that rust out on these Blazers, and I'm going to try to guard as much of the sunlight here so you can see, but a lot of the common areas on these Blazers that rot out is down here in the front lower corner panels. And from what I've done some research online and some videos I've seen, is you can actually get entire sections that are body formed and shaped that can be welded in place of this. So that may be my next step if this rusts through again. Hopefully it doesn't anytime soon, but this entire lip right here was gone. This intersection here was gone. Basically went in there and put some sheet metal. I don't have a welder, so I had to rivet it. And then I bonded over it and then sanded it down as smooth as I could. Unfortunately, on this particular side, on the passenger side, I lost some of the body line right here. So the body line, which is right here, kind of went away because I guess I had the Bondo too thick right here. It's a little rough, and you can see the paint line. I plan on wet sanding this side a little bit just so I can get rid of this little paint line that's right there, and a little bit of a Bondo line too. But overall, for someone that's not, I would never consider myself an expert at bodywork, it actually turned out quite nice. Just going to continue to do walk around here for you. This is the two-door base model. Nothing real fancy here. I've wanted a Blazer for years. I finally just got this last summer. Done a ton of work to it. Unfortunately, that's part of owning a Blazer, is they do have a tendency of having a lot of the common issues, just like any vehicle and any manufacturer does. On this side over here, same exact scenario, except this, as you can see, where I've gotten a lot better. I've done some videos here dedicated to some other people on YouTube that I talked to regarding bodywork. This section here, this whole area right through here was gone. Up through here was gone. And a great deal of this body lip around here was also rotted out, as well as, once again, same thing as the other side. This inside right in here was completely rotted through. I don't understand why these rust so much right there. I mean, I can see that the wheel probably kicks most of the crap up inside there. It's just I can't quite figure it out. And the thing is, and everybody will agree with this, including facts that I found on my own, is they rot from the inside out. Moisture, water somehow gets up through these seams, or seams up behind here, in between where the sheet metal has been pinch welded together, and it literally just rots from the inside out. So, but this whole section I painted. I'm going to try to figure out how to upload some pictures on YouTube. I haven't quite experimented very much with YouTube yet, so I'm still kind of a rookie with YouTube. But I want to get some pictures uploaded of what it looked like in the process of me working on it. But I just, in order to do better blending as far as color, I did use factory spray paint, factory matching spray paint. And what I did was I used this body line right here to blend the two panels together. I didn't want to paint anything that I didn't need to paint, but what I found was once I got in there with the dual action sander, it just, the more and more I sanded to try to get the Bondo that I put over the rivets, because I put sheet metal in here, sheet metal up all the way up into here, sheet metal that I had riveted in. And in order to cover those rivets and make it look nice, I had used a thin layer Bondo over it, but it seemed like the more I was trying to get that Bondo flattened out and smooth, the higher up I ended up having to go with the paint. That's when I finally made the executive decision just to go ahead and paint basically from, and you could probably see it, maybe not on this camera, but there's a paint line inside here. A little bit right here too, a paint line. I had to go this way because I screwed up and accidentally nicked this with the dual action sander when I was trying to sand out the Bondo that was in here. So also painted up around here because there's some scuffs in it, and I also clear coated it using the actual an actual paint auto body sprayer that you hook up to the air compressor. So I actually used an air sprayer to paint, or I'm sorry, clear coat it when I was done. Since then, I've already buffed it, and it's actually, you can see yourself in it. It's not the smoothest finish. It is kind of orange peely, but to be honest with you, for someone like myself, I am thrilled with it. I'm surprised I was able to pull that much off. Same thing up here. It's a little dirty right now because I haven't washed it for a few weeks. But same thing right here. Now there's a body, you can see the paint line right here. I'm not very good at blending, and I'm sure that if I had the correct paint in the actual paint gun for the actual air sprayer, I'm sure I could have done a much better job at this. But this is the results I have from basically trying to do it at your home without very much experience. So wet sanded this the best I can so I could try to get as much of a blend as I could. Once again, used the body line in here to cut off where the paint line was. This whole bottom part of the fender was completely gone. I mean, I also have pictures of this, unfortunately no videos. This was completely just right through here. All the way, this section coming all the way into here down was completely rotted out. All the way down under here. There was pretty much no fender left. So once again, got some sheet metal, formed it into the shape of what the fender is. It's a little off. You can see right in through here the shape isn't quite right, but once again, put Bondo over it to cover up the rivets, painted it, cleared it, and actually this is the nicest part of the vehicle right here, is this finish right here is so smooth that, I mean, it's like baby sins, you know, smooth. So also, which I'm going to have to redo because I can see they're coming through. I'm probably going to have to door glass a couple spots on these rockers. I didn't really do anything except throw some Bondo over it, but unfortunately it's rusting through already. But I actually painted this bottom rocker all the way underneath to the actual pinch weld seam. And you can see like there's a spot right there that's already come back through. And the thing is, guys, you know, and this is something I've learned from bodywork, is you absolutely cannot make shortcuts. If you do, I should say, make shortcuts when you're working on this stuff, you are going to be redoing it, and it's going to be twice as much work to redo it. When you're dealing with paint, especially fresh paint, especially canned spray paint, it's a real bugger to get back off in order to get it to sand back down smooth in order to actually go ahead and redo the area that came back through again. So, you know, I recommend using some door glass versus the Bondo on those holes. Actually knock as much of the rust out as you can. Any rust that's left over, it's going to come back through. I mean, in my case, it came back through within a week. And to be truthful with you, automotive paint is not cheap and the materials are not cheap. So I do regret I didn't take my time and do it right, but I was doing it. I was in a hurry. Once again, you know, if I had a garage, unfortunately my garage is filled with a bunch of junk. But this is the inside of the Blazer. It's in pretty decent shape. Done some previous videos on this as far as with ABS issues and things like that, which I've corrected. It turned out to be the ABS sensors on the dust shields in front of the rotors. They were pretty much rotted and gone, so I replaced both those. Dorman makes a really nice aftermarket cheap alternative part number replacement for that. So it's just a standard 2 seats in the back here. And there's no holes in any of the interior. All the vinyl is perfect. Everything works. I mean, there's not a thing in this vehicle that doesn't work. Once again, the seats are in great shape. Carpet's in good shape. I take really good care of it. I'm constantly detailing it. And I'll show you the hood. Right now we're at $133,975. I put the aftermarket CD player in it too. Kind of doing this video once again. It's going to cover a bunch of stuff, things that you need to look out for if you do decide you want to get into a Blazer. This is also going to be a good video to give you some insight on bodywork. Once again, not an expert, just simply going over and giving people some insight of what I've run into. This has the standard 4.3 in it. This is what most of the Blazers, in fact all the base models in 97 came with the 4.3 V6. I don't know who or how familiar you guys are with the 4.3, but the 4.3 is basically a V8 with the last 2 cylinders cut off. So it's basically the same engine as the, I believe the 350, I believe, is what it's compared to. But great engine. I do believe, though, someone at some point has done the upper and possibly the lower intakes on it. Gaskets, which is honestly perfectly fine with me, because that's one less thing I have to deal with. Since then, I've converted it over to the standard green coolant. Once again, this is a matter of preference. This isn't a must. This is something I do on all my vehicles. This is from GM. GM uses this orange stuff called Dexcool, which I don't know if you Google it, you will find thousands and thousands of complaints about Dexcool basically causing intake leaks in low mileage engine and all their General Motors cars, specifically like the 3100s, 34s, 35s. They're all blowhead gaskets and intakes, all related to what I feel and from what I've read to the Dexcool. You have to change it, guys. If you're going to stay with the factory called Dexcool coolant that it comes with, the orange, you have to change it. Don't wait 5,000 miles, or I'm sorry, 5 years, 100,000, 150,000, whatever it calls for. Do not wait. It's going to cause you problem. It's going to ruin your intakes. It's going to clog your heater core. This stuff turns into a brown, sooty sand in your coolant system. It gets acidic and it just eats away at all your internal gaskets. I recommend every 2 to 3 years. 3 years is pushing it to change your coolant. You can put Dexcool back in, that's fine. Just make sure you're doing the flushes, getting them taken care of, because that Dexcool does nothing but problems, causes nothing but problems. But like I said, I've already converted this over to the green, the long life standard green coolant. I got rid of the Dexcool. Also power washed the engine. It's kind of dirty now, but probably last summer. I'm basically just did that so I can look for leaks and stuff. And there's a couple little damp areas, but to be honest with you, for 133,000 miles, the engine's pretty dry. It doesn't really lose any oil between oil changes. When you get underneath it, there is some oil that's under there, but there doesn't appear to be any oil like dripping steadily. It's just seeping around the gaskets, which is typical. One thing, I may end up just eventually deciding to paint this vehicle, but I'm getting some oxidation, and I highly doubt this camera's picking it up, but there's some scratches and oxidation on the upper fenders and the hoods. So I've kind of considered painting it. But yeah, things to look for when you're looking at these Blazers is, once again, your common spots, which is the bottom of the doors, the rockers, the front corner panels. The other place that's common to rust when you're looking, if you're thinking about buying one of these, is underneath the gas door, which is very common on GMs. You know, when you're looking, if you're going to buy one of these, it's the Bravadas, the Oldsmobile Bravadas, the Jimmys, whatever you're getting into from this generation. You know, like I said, just, you know, don't be embarrassed when you're looking to buy one of these. Climb under it. You know, look at the frame. You know, like I said, look back up all through here. You know, feel up around here, up to this lip. Like I said, this vehicle here is in good shape, but I'll be honest with you, I've done quite a bit of work to get it there, so it's not something that it just came this way. Some of the other areas is the bottom of these doors. They all tend to rust here. You can see there's some cancer starting in here. Not too bad on this one. This is actually in pristine shape compared to some of the Blazers that I look for. The other thing you look for on these too, these door hinges. These door hinges, these bushings and these pins, they all go bad, especially in a driver door because it's used a lot. So one of the things you can do is actually lift up. Now this one, I've replaced the hinge so it doesn't move, but you can actually pop this door in and out because these pins go bad and they wear out. Something else to look for. One problem that you have to watch too on these is these doors, they don't actually bolt to the body, they're welded. This one's pulling away a little bit, so what I try to do is when I let the door open, don't let it just swing open, guys. It will break. So that's pretty much it. I'll just do a quick startup for you here. I've also flushed all the front rear differentials on this because this is a four-wheel drive vehicle. I put the full synthetic 7590, the Lucas in the rear, and just some cheap stuff I picked up at Walmart in the front differential. I wasn't as concerned about it because I hardly used a four-wheel drive. But the also had to replace the differential cover too, which I'm going to try to capture that, but I don't know if you'll be able to catch that or not. But the differential cover, I put some new bolts on there too. I ordered all that. Once again, Dorman. Dorman has a ton of really neat stuff out there that you can find aftermarket replacement parts a lot cheaper than going to the actual manufacturer or to the dealer. My next project is I'm looking for a replacement grill. Now, most are looking at this on this quality of a camera and saying, why? You know, Dan, that looks fine. Well, I'm not against chrome. I like it. I actually am probably going to stick with the chrome, but there's a lot of areas that is really chipped and faded, like around the headlights here. Up close and in person, you can see it's in pretty bad shape. But once again, it's a 97. Cracked right there. Headlights, I just ordered some headlights on eBay for 20 bucks. That it's a conversion kit where you can convert these over to the H4. I guess they can consider composite instead of the closed beam. Guys, these headlights suck. So there's two styles that they used on these. Was the headlights, which are the closed beam, which is what you're looking at right now. It's basically a headlight that is sealed. You can't change. You have to replace the whole bulb assembly. The entire assembly comes out. These are Silver Stars, and I'm still not being able to see anything at night. So I'm going to go ahead and order those on eBay. Actually, I should say I already have, and they're on their way. So I'm kind of interested to see what kind of a difference that makes. Oh, also brake lines. These things here, look at the brake lines. You have to go under the driver's door. And basically, and I'm not going to try to kill myself here, I'm just going to get down a little bit for you, but the brake lines run up underneath the frame, pretty much on top of the frame. Now, I've actually replaced the brake line all from basically the front tire, where there was a union, all the way back, and also put the new lines, it's 1/4 inch going back, and then it's 3/16 going across the axle. Replaced all the brake lines, the wheel cylinders, the rear shoes, the rear drums, and hardware kit. It's something you're going to have to do pretty much on any one of these S10s or Blazers. Down here you can probably see this is the new brake line. This is the old brake line, which was still in good shape. I just jointed into this union, ran it back. This is a 1/4 inch going back, and then it's 3/16 going across the axle. Like I said, also replaced the rear shocks as well. But yeah, pretty much when you buy this, you're going to be doing ball joints and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and start this up. This also has a remote start and alarm, aftermarket, but it works good, so it's kind of nice to have in the winter time. Engine runs great. I have no complaints about it. I think I need to replace the fan clutch though, because it's been making a little bit of noise. Right now it's actually quiet, which is unusual for these. That's it. Really not anything too exciting to report. So I'm going to probably wrap this up because I'm already at 17-minute long video here, and it's going to take me forever to upload this. But once again, just wanted to let you know what to look for when you're buying one of these, kind of give you an update on everything I've done so far. One other thing I forgot to mention was when I first got this, did the exhaust from the converter back. It took me a half hour in the driveway. Monroe wanted to charge me $680 to do it. They were charging me $400 for a muffler in which that I actually found at Napa, same part number, Walker brand, for $43. They were marking it up $400. So yeah, if you can do any of your own car repairs yourself, I highly suggest it. Don't be afraid of these things because they're really not that big of a deal. If you have any common sense, you know how to use a screwdriver, you can pretty much work on a car. So, other thing too, real quick, and I'm going to have to wrap this up real soon here because this video is getting really long. I could go on forever when it comes to cars. This is my dad's 2000 Grand Prix. Has the Series 2 in it. I've had to put the replace the upper intakes and the lower intakes on this. Something to kind of show you. And I don't think I'm going to set the alarm off on this. I don't think I locked the doors. But let's find the hood latch here. Something to show you on these too. If you ever have to get into doing one of these intakes. This is a 3.8 Series 2 on this. Pretty decent engine. Once again, though, when we were discussing earlier, the deck's cool. Same exact thing. Deck's cool was the culprit for this thing to blow. He started getting a knock, and I started getting a whole bunch of buildup on this cap of this like milky substance. Excuse me, guys. This milky substance that was building up on the cap. It was basically the antifreeze mixing with the oil. It was getting in through the intakes that were leaking. But what I did was when I did these intakes, they sell this Dorman upper intake. Unfortunately, they're plastic. To do the metal one, you'd have to do a bunch of conversions, which is what they did in the Series 3. This is the Series 2. They came out with the metal upper intake plenums, which was to resolve problems with these cracking. And then where they would crack is near the throttle body where the coolant inlets were, because the metal actually touched the plastic. But what I did was the kit that it came with, the Dorman kit, was fantastic. Once again, Dorman is great. They gave you the PCV valve, they gave you the upper intake, they gave you all the upper intake gaskets, a whole assortment of O-rings. All the injector O-rings were included. It was incredible. Like, I've never seen anything. It was like $97 at one of these local rum-dum auto parts that's near me. Also, that's common on these too is down here. Try to get down there is a little pipe, an inlet hose there, and that inlet, like plastic pipe, that goes into a actual passageway that goes into the bracket of the alternator and goes into the lower intake, and it allows the coolant to flow through there and then comes out through the heater core hoses back here. That was real interesting getting that back in whenever I was putting the lower intake back in with the new gaskets. So I wish I'd done a video on that. I did some video coverage on my brother's head gasket that I did on his 90 Grand Prix with the 3100, but we also had to replace the mass airflow sensor and the throttle position sensor, which is right there. Mass airflow sensor and the idle air control valve all had to be replaced after I did the intakes because it was just blowing that coolant all through the inside of the throttle body and everything else when it was going through there, and oil was coming up through there. So very common on these. Once again, could have been prevented if the Dexcool would have gotten changed out several times throughout the mileage. This car has only 100,000 on it. It had to do the intakes, I think, around 89,000. Has the Dexcool in it right now. That's getting flushed out soon, but I just don't have time to deal with it at the moment. So, but that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, this also had to have some major body work done onto it. The rocker panel is pretty much rotted out, and once again, I have some pictures of that, what it looks like. But we found a guy that is kind of a friend of a friend type of deal, and he was able to replace the rocker panels using these. I had bought these rocker covers they sell, and what he did was he actually cut out all the battery because the rockers were gone, almost front to back. They were just shot, both sides. I mean, it's a shame that this car is in beautiful condition, but these rockers were completely shot. But what he did was he used this type of body glue. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I've kind of heard about it, but I'm not that familiar with it. He didn't weld it, but he riveted the new rocker covers on after he cleaned up all the rust and primered it. And then he used this body glue to seal it. And then it actually goes all the way down to the pinch weld. I'm not going to climb under this because this car sits low, but all the way down to the pinch weld he had to replace all the way back, and he just put those covers on both sides. And he made this makeshift bracket because the brackets were rotted out for the body skirts. He made these makeshift brackets to bolt back on the rocker or the skirts back on. So I was really impressed with the work he did. I took it to him because it's just something I did not want to deal with. So very, very impressive work. He owns a business called Fiola's, which is in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania, and he does body work, mainly for insurance claims, but I managed to get him to take care of it, and he did a fantastic job. He even painted it to factory spec, the new rocker covers he put on. Also, this front end was wrecked too. A few months after we owned this vehicle, a lady pulled out in front of my dad, and he ended up hitting her. They had to replace the hood and the front bumper, and I believe this tail light, or this headlight right here, this headlight over here is still pretty oxidized, so it was the right one they had to replace. So I want to clean that one up so it looks good. But so the whole front end had to be painted on this. Did a pretty good job. That was done at Cochran Automotive here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They did that. So once again, nice car. Once again, you know, Pennsylvania is where I live, so any of this body work and rust, that's pretty much related to the wonderful salt and the weather that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and close out here. So please, you know, subscribe, rate, let me know what you think. Apologize for going on so much. I've just had so much to tell you guys. For those that do follow me on here, I just had a lot of catching up to do. So as far as what I've been doing and projects I've been doing. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out, and take care, guys.